Okay, this video covers IP delivery and forwarding. You've probably talked about this before in previous classes, but it's important to kind of review it. So there are two different types of delivery of IP packets that we can consider. They are direct delivery, which is what we call it when hosts are on the same network or same LAN. And there's indirect delivery when they are not on the same network. So we'll first look at direct delivery. So we have a cloud here, and host A wants to send an IP packet to host C. So in class, I'd ask my students, what address do we use when communicating on the same network? Again, this is one of those questions I harp on, and on the same network, the correct answer, of course, is the MAC address. Since IP packets use IP addresses, we have to use ARP, Address Resolution Protocol, to map the IP address of the destination into a MAC address. We'll be discussing ARP in great detail in a upcoming video. But a brief discussion of the ARP process is the machine that's sending the IP packet broadcasts an ARP packet that basically says, hey everyone, here's my IP address and my MAC address. I'm looking for the MAC address of the machine with the MAC address x.x.x.x. So that's a broadcast that goes out to everybody. Machines that do not have the IP that this machine is looking for simply ignore the ARP request. The machine that has the IP responds back with an ARP reply and says, hey, that's me. Here's my IP address and here's my MAC address. At the same time, it will also record the MAC address and IP address of the machine that sent out the request in its ARP table. The sending machine receives that reply and it puts the information in its ARP table. The machine that's sending the IP packet then is able to send the IP packet using the MAC address of the destination machine that it just received in ARP. So that's a brief discussion of direct delivery. Here is indirect delivery in that the hosts are on different networks. So in this situation, host C on the network at the left would like to talk to host X on the network on the right. And again, I would ask my students, when the machines are on different networks, what address do we use to communicate? And of course, the answer to that is the IP address. This goes through a process called forwarding. And basically, forwarding is the packet goes from router to router to router until it finally makes it to the destination device. In this case, the sending device knows that the destination IP is not on the same network. So it looks up the default router and sends the packet to the default router's MAC address. That router looks up in its routing table, figures out what the next hop will be, that is the next device or next router that it needs to send the IP packet to, and it forwards that packet to that next hop. We'll look at the forwarding through the router continues until the packet reaches its destination. I think I already said that. And we will look at routing a little later in the semester. So that's IP delivery and forwarding.